then you will think of these two categories of industries, the MMS type and the R&D type. And since 90% of them get employment or get employed in MMS type, therefore, most of our curricula should be tuned to that MMS type of industry. Well, you may say, then what about R&D? Well, you can give electives or you can give optional subjects. So those who have a research temperament, they can pick up those and earn more credits or earn additional credits, and then they can go towards a research and development type of industries. Okay. Next one is, now how does that matter again? These two major type of industries gives to basically two types of UG programs in engineering area, if you look at it, right? One is called the engineering technology programs, BTech programs, and the other is the BE programs. Now you may say, but in India, both of them are synonyms. That differentiation is not there. While in developed countries, especially in USA and all, BE means their curriculum is tuned towards research and development. This is not only for, this can happen for physics, chemistry, and others as well. For any discipline, research is there required. So, and this is in tune with the need of the NEP 2020, matching the need of the NEP 2020 for improvement of the UG and PG programs. We can have these two. Well, this is a new concept, maybe for some of you, but this has also already been propounded years back. In 2018, I had written a paper in the Association of Indian Universities Journal, and you must see that in 2018 it was already done. So those who, it's available on the internet. So those who want to know more about it, how it has to be done, so you can search, put my name, you can you'll get the full paper on this. Okay. And this also helps very much in the industry connect. That's why I've brought in this. Now, India today, on 15th July 2022, celebrated the World Youth Skills Day. And this was, July 15th was announced as a World Youth Skills Day by the United Nations Organization, right? And this year also, India Today reported something about the employment that I just want to inform you. It says 130 lakhs of youth join the workforce each year. And that is a staggering amount of number of people. 130 lakhs every year. So if they are not employable, they'll go into oblivion. They may not get a job, they may just roam around, and things like that may happen. So if you have the industry connect for all these 130 lakhs of youth every year, the employability will be very high, right? So now out of this 130, what they say, as I'm talking of the latest statistics of this year only, a few months back, 1 out of 4 MBAs are only employable. Rest 3 are not employable because they are looking out for a job still. But getting an employment will be difficult. 1 out of 5 engineers only and 1 out of 10 graduates only. So it's very alarming. What is the reason? The reason is this one, lack of employable skills. Now, who are responsible for that? I think we as academia are responsible for that. How can we solve this problem? That's what we are going to see today, right? Now, this latest news, in fact, astounded me as well, because where is India going and what actions are we taking? And I'm glad that Amit has brought out this, and I could give you an idea of how to have more of industry connect with the curriculum. Now, you must remember the curriculum is the constitution of any educational program, right from school system to the PhD level. So if the curriculum is the constitution, it has to be designed properly, right? Hence, for the success of an outcome-based curriculum, all the teachers need to perceive it correctly and establish the industry connect when implementing the OBC in letter and spirit. Okay. So if this has to, the problem with outcome-based curriculum all over India is that it is perceived differently by different people. It is something like 4 men or 5 men touching the elephant and telling that the elephant is like a pillar and elephant is like a snake and things like that. Because outcome-based curriculum is very much known or understood differently, and therefore it is being implemented also like that. So this we will take care how we will see how this can be resolved. Now, let us see a Chinese proverb. It has some connection with curriculum and industry connect. It says, the more I hear, what happens? I will say the lecture method, the more I forget. So you see, if you are implementing a curriculum, if you're going on lecturing, the more they will forget. The more I see, when I say more I see, that means in your classes, if you're going to use audiovisual, visuals more, then they will at least remember something more. And the more I do, the more I understand. So if you can involve the students in the teaching learning process, then they will understand better. And how this can be done? This can be done if that industry connect is there, because the students will be interested in doing only when they know that it is going to benefit them in their future. So if you want to make them do something in the class, in the laboratory, in the project, bring in the industry connect. That is the message for this session. Now, outcome-based curriculum and industry connect. Is that there? Yes or no? We are having outcome-based curriculum for the last 10-15 years, both in the engineering and non-engineering institutions. And why was outcome-based curriculum brought in? It was brought in so that employability will be there. But unfortunately, employability is not there as India today has reported. And therefore, if employability is not there, that means industry connect is also not there. This is an indicator, we can say. And therefore, and I found that there was hardly any book on outcome-based curriculum, and therefore I have just authored an outcome-based curriculum for higher education, which is soon going to be published, maybe very shortly, and maybe you can contact me or sometime later, maybe next month or so, this book will be published. So whatever I'm talking about today, it is written in great detail in this book. Okay. Now, what many Indian universities presently have are only a syllabi and are not an OBC or outcome-based curriculum as they claim it. How many universities are there? Almost, as on today, October 2022, 1,056 universities are there. And many of them, though they say they have an outcome-based curriculum, it is only a syllabus. As industry connect is missing in many of these university curricula, that's the problem. Now, what is that they are having? Most of them, they are having a teaching and examination scheme with poor industry connect of PEOs and PSOs. right? And based on that, we have a syllabus. What does a syllabus mean? A syllabus means it has some COs or course outcomes, which also has poor industry connect, some experiments which are also having a poor industry connect, and related some topics. Now, I'll show you some examples so that uh, to drive home the point that I'm going to say, why the industry connect is not there in these so-called curriculum. See, in the outcome-based curricula, which many universities and higher education institutes say, is that they have a PE. So what is a program educational objective? They are basically aims of a curriculum. It means what expertise she would have or he would have acquired after working in the industry for 3 to 5 years. And this is a mandatory thing by National Board of Education, NBA, as well as NAC. They want that every curriculum should have a PEU. And some sample PEUs are there. I'm giving you what I got from the internet, from some universities. I'm not going to name the university or higher education institutes, but this is how it looks like, many of them. For example, PEO 1 for a BSc Physics 3-year course, it says, have a strong foundation in basic sciences, mathematics, and computational platforms. 2, enter higher studies leading to postgraduate and research degrees. Serve the society with scientific advancement for building a knowledge-based society. Now, what is the problem with these? These are non-examples as the direct industry connect is not there, or it is missing, as they are not observable and measurable LOs. See, these are good statements, but they are not observable and measurable. If they are not observable and measurable, you can't assess also. That's the problem. So this has to be how this can be converted into an observable and measurable industry connect PEOs that we'll see in the coming slides. Now, another example, another term which NBA and NAC want is PSOs, or program specific outcomes. The other one was what was the other one? PEOs, or program educational objectives. PSOs are program specific outcomes. Both are different. Objective means something which is intended. This is happening after 3 to 5 years. The graduate has been working in the industry. He has left the institute and has been working in the industry. And after working for 3 to 5 years, he should have an expertise in some area. So these PEO 1, PEO 3 does not show the expertise. It should show the expertise. That's the basic thing, which is observable and measurable. While outcomes are that which are required, while program-specific outcomes are required on the day of graduation. What is the integrated specialized jobs the graduate can do on the day of graduation? That is what a program-specific outcome is. In other words, they are the goals of a curriculum, which are achievable. So this can be measured by the academia straight in the institute itself or the university itself. So some sample PSOs, which are most of the universities have, or higher education, HEI means higher education institutes have. One PSO says, realize the role of physics in day-to-day life. Realize is something taking place inside the brain. You cannot see it. It is not observable and measurable. Number 2, expertise in various domains of physics. This also you cannot measure because it is an expertise. It is also internal. Third, identify and access diverse applications of physics using mathematical concepts, enriching career opportunities. How will this address help the industry? That's the thing. So industry connect has to be there, and this is quite vague. So you have to make it more industry friendly, because the industry should understand what they are going to get. These statements do not specifically say what they are going to give to the industry, what the academia is going to do. So these are also non-examples, as they are not observable and measurable. Now we will see some right examples how these can be corrected also. Now, looking into the third one, that is the syllabus. What does the syllabus say? Digital signal processing is one course inside a BSc physics program. I've just taken at random one course and one program. I can, this is the same, but the situation is the same for every program and for every course. Let me put it like that. Here they are talking of objectives. Objectives means they also should be measurable and observable, right? But in this, describe is measurable, but it is at a very, very low level. I would say if you're talking of Bloom's taxonomy, they are at the remember level. And remember level items are not required by the industry. So the industry connect is not there. Then by digital signal processing, they want to only describe, or by rote learning, you describe something. So that's the thing. So second one is it will provide knowledge of digital fiber. Knowledge of digital fiber is not what the industry wants. The industry wants something what he can do within the digital fiber, right? Sorry, digital filter. Next one is discuss the word length issues and multi-rate signal processing applications. See, the industry does not want somebody who can, he wants something he will deliver. So, and these objectives, there's no direct connection with the learning units, unit 1, unit 2, unit 3, like that. And therefore, industry connect is also missing in this syllabus. How we can do this better, that we will see, right? Now, before that, I would like to show you this person. I hope you know all of them. You know, all of you know him. Who is he? Anybody can say, so that I know that you're listening. Maybe the moderators at Amit, can you hear me? Yes. It is Abraham Lincoln, the 16th president of USA. So he took a class, right? And he asked this question to the class. He said, if I call a horse's tail a leg, how many legs does the horse have? Okay. The answer was, some said 5, some said 1. Which is the correct answer? Yes. What is the correct answer? Can anyone would like to put in the chat box?
So some of them are posting 5 and some of them are posting 1.
1. Any other answer other than the 5 and 1?
No, sir. No. It's 1 and 5 only.
1 and 5 only. But the right answer.
One of the participants has mentioned as 6, sir.
Yeah, but 4 is the right answer. And why 4 is the right answer? Abraham Lincoln says, I may call the tail anything, but a leg remains a leg and the tail remains a tail. So it is with outcome-based curriculum also. That's what I want to say. Many people call their curriculum as outcome-based, but the outcomes are not observable and measurable. Unless the outcomes, different types of learning outcomes, LOs, are observable and measurable, then only it becomes an outcome-based curriculum. Otherwise, it is not an outcome-based curriculum. So the earlier examples that I showed earlier of the syllabus, the PSOs, the PEOs, they are not observable and measurable, and hence you may call it an outcome-based curriculum, but actually it is not. As Abraham Lincoln says, you may call. So that is one thing that I learned from Abraham Lincoln's thing. So in developed countries, I'll go to the next slide. In developed countries, what happens? The universities do the research, patent the results, they commercialize it and give it to the industry. So the universities have a big role to do there, and that is why they are developing further and further. While in industries, what is happening? We try to match our curriculum with the industry, and even that is not happening. So the industry is way ahead than the universities, while it should have been the opposite. We should have more and more, I would say, we should be proactive. Our university system should be proactive, and so that they are at least at par with the industry or even better than the industry. But we are behind the industry. So this situation has to change for the industry connect to happen. Now, to establish the outcome-based curriculum and the industry connect, what has to be done? In my opinion, there has to be a curriculum development cell in every institute, in every university, and every higher education institute. And this this committee is so important because the industry representative will permanently be there. Some senior teachers will be there, and the curriculum development specialist. You will say, who is the curriculum development specialist? Maybe I am, you can say, maybe I am one of the examples. There are many others. So people like us who are doing researches in the way how education has to be done, they are curriculum development specialists. So involve them also, and the industry and the senior teachers from the institute. When these three people, groups of people come together, your curriculum, there will be an industry connect with your curriculum. And once that happens, your teaching style will change, your teaching strategy will change, the student involvement will change, the student projects will change, the laboratory instruction will change, the examination system will change. You will ask questions which are industry relevant rather than mundane. I would say, when I say mundane, I mean lower order thinking skill questions. Now, if you examine the questions of, I would say 99%, or say 98% of the institutes or question papers, they are at the lower order thinking skills of the Bloom's taxonomy. Only have to remember and understand that. Apply level questions are not at all there. Unless apply level questions you ask, students will not go or will not be employed. So you have to ask questions which are industry related, employer related. Such questions will have to come from in each and every course. There is nothing like theory and practical. See, the theory and practical should go together. In many universities, what is happening? Theory goes one way and practicals go the other way. No. See, your teaching or the higher education programs are to make them employable. So when you're talking of employability, it is practicals. So practicals, whatever theory you teach, it should be the underpinning theory for that practical. So if that underpinning theory and the practical don't go together, the students are confused. Therefore, my humble request is, all of you or any one of you who are in the curriculum development meetings, tell them this different entities of laboratory and theory going different directions should stop. They should become one course. There cannot be a laboratory course separately and a theory course separately. No, they should both go together. Then only the industry connect can become more and more stronger. Okay. So when I'm talking about that, there are two things. One is you call the integrated courses where the theory and the practical go together, and the non-integrated courses where the theory and practical are not in one course. So I would rather put in that how this has come, because from administrative point of view, but from academic point of view, non-integrated courses are not good. Integrated courses are required. Okay. So CDC will take care of that. Now, what are the functions of the CDC? They, in fact, benchmark the curriculum. They finalize the curriculum philosophy and the curriculum development model to be adopted, right? They decide the target employability of the graduates, whether MMS or R&D type of industry. Where will they get employment? They will conduct occupational research before they revise the curriculum, whether those graduates will get jobs in the industry. They will conduct curriculum analysis of each UG or PG programs. They will design research tools to collect responses from the employees and industry and alumni to identify the needed competencies to be included in the curriculum. They will finalize the competencies. Now, what is a competency? Right? A competency is that macro level job that will describe a course which the industry wants. Okay, I'm repeating it again. A competency is a macro level learning outcome, and generally it is one for each course. That means if there are 30 courses, there will be 30 competencies. And from the competencies, the course outcomes flow out. And these are identified from the industry, and therefore the industry connect comes in. Then you come to map the finalized competencies with the relevant courses. So what you actually do is you will identify the competencies from the industry and then find out which courses match those competencies. So when you go to the class to teach the students, you will tell them, well, I am teaching this course so that this competency which the industry wants or which the employer wants, you will be able to develop by the end of this semester. So that is how it goes. So the CDC has a very, very important role. If at all you don't have a CDC, please constitute one. Or if there is a CDC, these roles have to be taken care in order that the industry connect is coming in. Okay. Next one is benchmark with reputed universities for core courses. So that if you want your university to be at the top, you have to compare what other good institutes are also doing and how they are doing like that. So that is called benchmarking with rep. So this is the work of these are the jobs which the CDC, it is a full-time job, but that means in this, the teachers will come and go, but the industry and the curriculum specialists will continue to monitor the curriculum so that the industry needs are fulfilled through the various programs. Now, remember, the student is the youngest and the most important stakeholder of any curriculum. Often, the industry connect is not clear to the students due to the disconnect of the LOs. LOs are nothing but learning outcomes in the curriculum with the industry, as neither the teachers and the students are then not sure what LOs to be developed through the semester. PEO is a learning outcome. PSO is a learning outcome. Course outcome is a learning. So all these come under the common category of learning outcomes. So in any program, there will be learning outcomes at different levels. PEO is a learning outcome at the universal level, while PSO is a learning outcome at the global level, stated at the global level, and competencies are learning outcomes stated at the macro level. We'll see further look into that. Yes. Now, another thing, the most striking feature of OBE is not knowing the course or the subject, but it is all about doing the job successfully at the industry or workplace due to the different types of learning outcomes attained during the course of study. So that means in your outcome-based curriculum, the various LOs or learning outcomes will have to be very, very specifically stated so that they will be able to do such jobs in the institute also before they graduate. So you will have to identify those competencies which have to be developed in the students through the various courses. And that is a weak link in most of the curriculum. So this disconnect, right? This disconnect, this is a major disconnect in most of the curricula of many higher education institutes and universities, right? Okay, so that has to be taken care. How will take care? We'll look into that. Now, what does curriculum development? The PDIE curriculum framework has 4 distinct stages. What is that? PD is planning the curriculum, in which the curricular approach and the need identification in terms of learning outcomes are identified. So that is PDIE. P stands for planning the curriculum. Then comes designing the curriculum. D stands for designing the curriculum, in which the program and the course structure design are made with the LOs, right? Then you have the I is for implementing the curriculum, which means outcome-based teaching learning and outcome-based assessment. This is what most of the teachers are doing, while planning and designing is done most of the time by the curriculum development cell or CDC, while implementing the curriculum is by every teacher. That means if you have an outcome-based curriculum, you have to, I would say, change your teaching lifestyle or teaching style. Outcome-based teaching learning has to be followed, or you have to try to do outcome-based teaching learning and outcome-based assessment as well. Earlier I told your question paper has to change drastically. You have to reduce the lower order thinking skill questions and increase the higher order thinking skill questions of Bloom's taxonomy. So you know what is Bloom's taxonomy? Most of you know that. Just remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. The industry is not at all interested in your remember and understand level questions. The industry is interested only in the apply and above. Apply, analyze, evaluate, create type of questions. And if you see your question paper, 95% are at the remember level or and understand level. So that has to change. And if that has to change, you have to identify the learning outcomes and teach accordingly, right? Then we have the curriculum evaluation. Evaluating the curriculum takes place only after one batch of students have graduated from that curriculum and have started at least working 1 or 2 years in the industry. So I will not be discussing about evaluating the curriculum over here. Up to implementing, we can have discussions. So all the 4 stages put together is called curriculum development. So this model is called the PDIE curriculum framework, which I would say it is being followed by NBA. It is being followed by NAC also, though they may not be calling it like that, but basically that is what they are doing. So it has been named as, we at NITR has named as, in fact, it's a new name for many of you. It's called PDIE curriculum framework. So remember this, most of the teachers are at the implementing the curriculum stage, while the CDC and the senior teachers may be in the planning and designing of the curriculum. Okay, right. And there's the and then you have the feedback. So feedback means when you are implementing, there is some problem in the questions. Then you immediately tell the CDC or you tell the university, well, this problem is there. And then again, there is a slight change may be brought in. So feedback it's a double-headed arrow, as you see. That means it is both ways. Okay. Now, how can outcome-based curriculum and industry connect be established? We have been talking about that, but still we will have some more thing. Revise the PDI curriculum framework after every life cycle. Now, what is this? Every, I would say, organism has a life cycle. Every process has a life cycle. Every product has a. Therefore, curriculum also has a life cycle. Suppose in the university, 6 students are joining for a UG or a PG program, and out of that, 2 may drop out or 2 may fail, and therefore, in the first round, 4 students reach the industry. Now, if you want to establish the industry connect, what you do is you have to gather the industry needs, say in 2020. Suppose this year, you are gathering the industry needs, and that comes under industry planning the curriculum. That means after PDI means planning the curriculum. In planning the curriculum, what we do is you gather the industry needs or the employer needs, right? And how do you gather? You will have questionnaires, maybe rating scale questionnaires. You may have checklists. You may have interview schedules. Okay. You may have search conferences. So through different means, you will gather the information from the industry. You will take government legislations, because now environment is a very big issue. So environment will be considered. The Indian Constitution will be considered, because a graduate should be a good citizen also, who knows the constitution of the country. So that is all, that thing is now compulsory. So you will gather the needs of the industry, of the society, of the government, and then you design the curriculum and you get the curriculum document. And this will take almost a year generally. So in 1 year, you will design or revise the full curriculum, and that is called curriculum designing the curriculum. And then in 2023, and suppose in next June or July, you will start implementing the curriculum. So when you implement the curriculum in 2026, if it's a 3-year program, it will be 2026. Otherwise, it will be 2027. The graduates will come out. And once they have been working for about 1 year or 2 years, then you will evaluate the curriculum. So the PDI framework means planning, designing, implementing, and evaluating. And this cycle will, repeated cycles will go on. Then only you can call it as a dynamic curriculum. So curriculum has to be a dynamic curriculum and not a static curriculum. But now you will say, so this life cycle may be if it's a 3-year program, it's a 3-year. If it's a 4-year program, it will be a 4-year, right? Plus 1 more year in the employer's place, right? But there may be situations like computer science, IT, where the information or the advancement of knowledge is much faster. Then what will happen? Even before the life cycle completes, you may introduce changes in the curriculum so that the industry connect is continue to have like that. I'll show you. See, now in this case, now this double-headed arrow shows that there was an input from the industry that some new technologies have come. So you will redesign or introduce some new courses or some additional courses or some elective courses and offer it. And then you implement it so that the industry connect is there all the time, right? So the PDI curriculum framework is very, very essential, very, very versatile in keeping your industry connect and keeping the curriculum dynamic. Okay. Now, during the planning stage, you have to find answers to the stakeholders' questions. Now, who are the stakeholders of the curriculum? The very first stakeholder is the student. The student would like to know what outcomes should I exhibit and at what level and how should I learn. That means if I'm studying the course on physics, BSc physics, studying the course on DSP, digital signal processing, or if I'm studying a course on optical fibers, what outcomes does the industry want and how and at what level? Should it be at Bloom's taxonomy understand level only? No, it should be at analysis level of Bloom's taxonomy, or it may be at evaluate level of the Bloom's taxonomy. That is what we have to spell out in the curriculum so that the industry connect is there. So the student also knows what are those that I have to exhibit when I am questioned, right? Okay. Next comes the teacher. The teacher would like to know what and how should I teach to develop the learning outcomes. So if your curriculum should provide answers for that in the design, right? And that sort of a curriculum is required. That's why I said there are many places where good curriculum is there, where all the answers to these questions come in. What competencies do the graduates possess when they go to the employment? That means the industry is not looking into your understand level questions, understand level outcomes. They are asking for macro level or competencies which the industry graduates will possess when they go to them for employment. They will ask, okay, you are studying optical fibers. What can you do for me? They will ask. That is the course that the student informs. Then he can say, well, I can check the performance of the optical fiber system. Well, if that is the thing, that is the competence. Checking the performance of the optical fiber is one competency of the course optical fiber system of the optical fiber optics course, right? So like that, every course will have one competency, and from that competency, the COs are derived or the course outcomes are derived. I cannot go into much of that because this is a very, very vast topic, but I'm just giving you hints how it has to be done. Now, the examiner interested, he's also a stakeholder. What are the learning outcomes that allows to assess, how to assess the attainments of the learning outcomes? See, the students will be attaining some course outcomes, some practical outcomes. How will what are the type of questions that should be done, that should be given to the students? Then comes the supporting staff. The supporting staff would like to know which equipment or instruments and consumables to be kept ready in the laboratory or workshop so that the learning outcomes can be developed. So the learning outcomes decide what each person has to do so that the students are able, so that the learning outcomes are developed in the student. So everybody revolves, all these stakeholders, their main aim is that learning outcomes are attained by the student. The curriculum developer also has a question: for whom is the curriculum meant for? To decide for the program specific outcomes to be included in the outcome based curriculum. I'm using short forms because otherwise you keep on talking, giving the lengthier, giving the full forms all the time. So, but these are the jargons which is known by all of you. Therefore, I'm using the jargons. So, for example, if it's a engineering graduate, the PSO will be different. If it is a diploma graduate, the PSO will be different. For a BSc physics, the PSO will be different. For a BSc chemistry, the PSO will be different. For the industry, because the industry takes work from all of them, and therefore the PSO will be different for each of these. And that has to be in observable and measurable terms again. What I want to say again is, these should be, if they are not observable and measurable, they are not outcomes at all. This all of you should remember. So if your curriculum is not so, convert them so that they are in observable and measurable forms. Okay. Next comes the administrator. See, the administrator is interested because how will the outcome-based curriculum or industry connect can be established? He will say, what facilities must I provide to implement the outcome-based curriculum? What equipments, new equipments would be required? What space would be required? And things like that. So that he has to provide in advance. Fine. Then the government is interested, will the curriculum solve the unemployment problem? The government is interested in that, right? So the question is, will the graduates be work ready and employable? Then we have the society. Okay. Will employment level decrease? Because when an unemployment level decreases, unsocial elements will also not be there, and the place would be a better place to live in. So these are the 9 major stakeholders who want answers to the questions, who want to see the industry connect of the curriculum, right? Okay. I'll rush through. I think now, how does a good outcome-based curriculum, what should an industry connect outcome-based curriculum contain? There are 2 things that is important. One is called the program structure, and the other one is called the course structure. So every good outcome-based curriculum will have a program structure separately, which in the traditional curriculum, you call it as teaching and examination scheme. But in outcome-based, it's called program structure. And then what you call syllabus there is called course structure here, because this has a number of things inside. So we will see what is that. So in the course structure, you will have the PEOs or program education objectives, and that is also it's stated by the industry at the universal level. We will see some examples, then it will be clear to you. Then you have the PSOs. I'm giving you the overall structure first. The program specific outcomes here. See, the outcome, the O in PEO is different. The O in PSO is different. In PEO, it is objective. In PSO, it is outcome. And this is also industry stated at the global level. Then you have the competencies. This is written at the macro level. So every course will have one competency. PSO is for the program level. That is why it's called, that is why the word P is. So if these 3 outcomes in observable and measurable terms are written, then your program structure is by and large industry connected, right? I'm not going to the details. How will you go into that? Because that's a very, very bigger area. Now you come to the course structure. That means every course will have a course structure. So you will take the competency from the program. So if it is a 30 courses are there or 40 courses are there, for each course there will be each course structure. So you will take one competency from for each course, which is written at the macro level. It is given by the industry or identified from the industry. From the competency, the course outcomes flow out, but they are also industry specific and they are at the meso level. For that means for each competency, there may be 5 to 6 course outcomes generally. Then for each course outcome, there will be a number of practical outcomes, which you call as experiments. But the word experiments has to be phased out. You should have practical outcomes which the industry or employer wants. And they are stated at the micro level. Then you have the unit outcomes, or I would say what you call as the theoretical outcomes. But because they are learning units, therefore the term unit is being used, and they are unit outcomes, and that is also at the micro level. Then you have the ADUs, or affective domain outcomes. That is at the micro level. So you see the 3 micro level outcomes. One is in the cognitive domain. The other one is in the PROs in the psychomotor domain, UOs at the cognitive domain, and affective domain outcomes at the affective domain level. And I would say in 99% of universities, affective domains are hardly taken care or hardly attempted. But that is what the industry wants acutely. They say, you give us loyal people. We can build a capability, but we cannot build loyalty. Loyalty is something from the heart. So during the formative stage, we can help them to reach that. But once they reach the industry, that will not be there. So anything concerning the heart, that means interest, punctuality, cost consciousness, cleanliness, these are all related to the heart. And that, how can we develop that? That's possible, and that has to be done purposefully. Therefore, those also has to be considered in the course structure. And then you have the related topics and subjects. So in your traditional curriculum, or I will say which are not outcome based, you have only the topics and subtopics and some experiments. While in a good outcome based curriculum, you have all these different types of LOs. Now you see, all these are learning outcomes: PEOs, PSOs, competencies, COs, PROs, UOs, ADOs. These are all different level outcomes, different types at different levels, right? Okay. No. Okay. I hope you are with me. Now, how can we establish the industry connect again? Let's go ahead. We have seen this one, but how do we get this? You have to take from the industry, and through interviews, questionnaires, checklists, rating scales, you take from the industry. That is where you establish the industry connect. Then you develop the CEOs, PROs by the CDC and give it back to the industry. Ask them whether this is what is required, and that is how the connect can be established. Okay. Now, how can you know whether a learning outcome is correctly framed? This, you can remember the word SMART. That means every outcome should have these characteristics which we are going to discuss. One, it is an action verb. The characteristics of the action verb are, it should be specific, that is observable. It should be measurable, that is M. It should be attainable, that means it should not be something from the utopia, right? And then it should be reasonably challenging, and then it should be time bound. What does it mean, time bound? Suppose you are given a job. If the student is going to take 2 days to do that job, that means he's not an efficient fellow. He would be sacked. The job which he has to do in 2 hours, if it takes 2 days, that means he has not attained that outcome, learning outcome that is required. So in the institute, we have to frame action verbs which will help the student to do the things in time as well. So every outcome will start with an action verb which should be SMART. Whether it is PEO, whether it is PSO, whether it's competency, whether it's course outcome, whether it's practical outcome, whether it's unit outcome, whether it's affective domain outcome, all will start with action verbs which are SMART. If this is not an action verb, then it is not an outcome at all. You cannot use understand, realize, investigate. Such verbs are not SMART action verbs, and because they are not observable and measurable. Okay. Now, coming to what are the correct ones, what are the non-correct ones? Let me go a bit faster. Sample PEOs of a BSc Physics, which I have seen in some, which I have taken from the internet, just to show you why they are not, how they can be improved, right? This we have already seen. So this we are cancelling and we are going to improve that. How that is improved? The sample earlier we had seen, we are cancelling that, we are improving that. Now, PEO1 or Program Education Objective for a basic BSc Physics course, a sample one is find solutions to the challenges in interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary environment and physical sciences. You see, the action verb, the smart verb is find. That is observable and measurable. And it is at a universal level. Means it is, you can measure it, but it is at a universal level, right? Next one is develop innovative and new technologies in physical sciences and related areas through lifelong learning process. Lifelong learning is something in the program outcomes as well. So it can be seen that develop is also an observable and measurable smart action verb. Okay. Third one, work ethically in multidisciplinary environment. Okay. In physical sciences through critical thinking. So you see how we have converted those non-observable action verbs to observable action. So you can improve that for your curriculum as well. That's why I said in the outcomes of this session, you can plan for your courses and for your programs. Now we go for the global level of program specific outcomes. We had seen that these were not observable and measurable. Now we'll see the corrected ones. First one, develop research temperament for postgraduate and research studies. So this it is observable and measurable. Develop. The word develop is observable and measurable. Number two, solve scientific or physics related problems following ethics for a sustainable environment. So when he is able to solve that, that means at the end of the 3-year UG program of physics, he will be able or she will be able to solve scientific or physics related problems following ethics for a sustainable environment. So whatever was vague, we are converting, which is observable and measurable outcomes. Third one, become an entrepreneur to manufacture and sell scientific products. So at the end of 3 years, he must have gained that much of knowledge to become an entrepreneur to manufacture scientific products. So this is what is expected at the end or on the day of graduation. So you see that one, you can see which I've cancelled, and you can see the other one which we have developed. So this is the way the industry connect is established. So you start right from PEO and PSO and start establishing the industry connect. Okay. Now, how many minutes? Oh, still we have time. Okay. Now we go to the scientifically developed OB structure. So we have seen from PSOs, it is at the global level. Then you have the industry-oriented course and LO. That means at the end of the course, the student would have acquired a competency. That is at the macro level. Then you have the industry-oriented course outcomes. That is at the meso level. And then you have the micro level outcomes. That is at the classroom level, laboratory level, and so on. So the OB outcome-based course structure gets developed with the COs and with the micro level outcomes, which is missing in most of the university or higher education curricula, even though they may call it as outcome-based, because these things are missing, the industry connect is not there. And that has to be brought in. Okay. Now, this we have already seen. I'll just skip this one. Now, strategies for Industry Connect. Okay. For strategies for Industry Connect, first one is guest lectures, which you often do, right? This you often call, but can you call industry persons to call? You may call your friends, or you may know your known professors. But if you call industry person, that Industry Connect comes in. They will come and tell what are the processes there, procedures there, and things like that. Then you can have adjunct faculty from the industry. That's another way of doing it. Then you can have live projects from the industry. Now, this is a very, very important phenomenon. How can you get this? For this, you will have to have a very good rapport with the industry, right? Teachers should have a very good rapport with the industry. That means each one of you should be connected with some industry personnel out there. That's number one. You at the institute level, you should have an industry institute interaction cell. And this can be part of the curriculum development cell, or it can be separate also. Generally, you have a cell which takes care of the placement, right? But I would, rather than naming it as a placement cell, we can say Industry Institute Interaction Cell, which takes care of the placement, but it also has a very good rapport with the industry, so that the problems which the industry face, you can create a bank of problems which can be given as live projects to the students, right? So the Industry Institute Interaction Cell, first of all, form that. Then each of the teachers, every teacher should have at least some contact, at least with one or two industries, of which your course is connected to or related to, right? Then you can think of, once you have a good rapport in the industry, you can call that industry person as guest lectures, for guest lectures as well. Adjunct faculty we have already called, okay? And then you have the industry visits, which you're already doing. Industry training is missing in most of the curricula, right? And that has to be strongly called in for. See, the industry will be happy to give training if you develop a good rapport with the industry. If you can solve some of their problems, it is always, I would say, give and take. You know, you solve their problems, they will place your students in the industry. They will give training to your students in the industry, like that. So I would put it that every industry has some problem or the other. Take those problems. Those problems may be micro level. It may be it may be a simple one. It may be a complex one, or it can be a very large problem. So you collect the problems from the industry. Then if they are smaller ones, give it to individual students. If they're slightly bigger, give it to two, 3 students to begin with. If they're too large, break up that problem into 10 different parts. And each of the part you give to each student group or individual students. Then you as a teacher can assemble them and the solution to the big problem and give back to the industry. That way what happens? A lot of researches also take place. You may be able to patent the solutions which you get. In this way, what is happening is the industry is offloading their problems to the institute, right? And they are concentrating more on production, and you are concentrating more on the research and development. So the projects, live projects taken from, that is what is the strong point of, that should be the strong point of every institute or university. So these are, we have talked about in the curriculum, how you can do that. Now, these things happen during curriculum implementation, right? See, these activities, we have talked about planning the curriculum, designing the curriculum. In planning the curriculum, you plan about the PEOs, PSOs, competencies, and designing the curriculum, you talk about the course structure, how to develop them. In implementing, you implement the course structure, and when implementing, you will have to follow these strategies. And when you are teaching also, you have to give industry examples. That is also there. Industry situations. When you are asking questions, give industry situations. So when you bring in the industry problems, industry situations more and more into the classroom, the industry connect of the curriculum is established. Well, it is all said and done, but it all starts with a small step that you do. I will not say that you will be successful right in the beginning, but you take the first step. Success begets success. That's what it said. So you take a very small step, change your teaching style, include industry situations in your teaching, include industry situations in the questions that you put, take live projects, give it to the students rather than having some mundane projects. So when you do all these things, the industry connect is established with the outcome-based curriculum. And what happens? All this leads to enhancing the employability level of your students. See, finally, our main aim is that every student of ours get employment. So when the employability level increases, the industry would be happy to have your students, recruit your students into their organizations, right? So next week, yeah. So all those who have, I have developed a MOOC course on SWAYAM platform. I have authored it about 4 years back. It is still being offered by AICTE, and but it is open for all, though it has been offered by AICTE for all engineering as well as non-engineering programs. Those who want, because it's a generic, though the electric engineering examples are used, but the process is the same. Therefore, non-engineering program teachers also can take part in it, right? Now, let us see the model that which we have talked so far. The typical model for industry connect. The PEO is basically the aim of the curriculum that we have seen. It is the expertise required by a graduate as she or he works for 3 to 5 industries. This you may not achieve, but it is because of the curriculum that you are implementing. From the aims, you have the goal or the PO or program outcome and program specific outcome. They are at the global level. The aims, PEOs are written at the universal level. The goals or the program outcomes and PSOs are written at the global level. Now, for each goal, there will be competency 1, competency 2, competency 3, and like that. And for the second goal also, there will be competencies. So this may be, so within, for the goal, for the PSO 1, there may be about 10 or 15 competencies, or each competency means 1 course. Like that for goal B, it could be another 20. So like that, all goals put to all the competencies put together for both the goals would be about 30 or 35 or 40, including the electives and the optionals, minors and majors that you call it, right? Then you come to the, for each competency, there will be a course outcome, which will be around about 4 or 5. The competencies at the macro level, and that has to be displayed at the end of the semester. While course outcomes are at the meso level, and they have to be displayed during the semester. That's the basic difference. See, The PSO has to be displayed at the end of the program, maybe at the end of 3 years or 4 years. And how are they displayed? They are displayed they are assessed through the major projects that you call. I call it as capstone projects. Therefore, the PSOs are assessed or measured through the capstone projects or major projects, while the course outcomes and the competencies, which are at the meso level and the micro level, they are assessed through micro projects, right? So micro project, that means every course will have a micro project where all the micro level outcomes are integrated. I'll tell you why that is important. Now, from the course outcomes, you have the industry focused practical outcomes have to be identified, right? You see, your practicals should not be verification of theory. Let me put it again and again. See, practicals are not to reinvent the wheel again and again in the laboratory or in the workshop. Practicals are basically done so that they are industry focused or employer focused. What the employer needs and which you cannot teach in the class, that you are going to teach in the practice, because that cannot be taught in any other place other than the laboratory or the workshop. But what is happening in many universities, they are trying to verify the theory in the practical, but that is a very wrong way of doing things. See, when you do the practicals for the industry or industry focused, automatically theory may get proved, but you are not doing it to prove the theory or verify the theory. So the student will get bored, or they will not be interested in the practical if they are going to verify the theory, because they know they have already studied the theory. They would like to know how the theory can be used in the practical to solve industry problems, to do industry level jobs, employer level jobs. So the practical should be industry related, industry connected. That is what you have to see. So you'll have to maybe revise your curriculum if it is an autonomous or it's a deemed university. You can do that. While otherwise, you have to tell the central university. I call it the hub and spoke model, where you have one university and about 50-60 colleges connected to it. That is the hub and spoke model. While in the deemed universities within that, so it is much faster for you to change your curriculum. Now, next one is from the practicals, you will have to find out which are the unit outcomes, or which are those outcomes required to do the practice. That means they are the underpinning knowledge required to do the practice. What you used to do is, first you used to make the theory and then the practical, but that's not the way the industry sees it. The industry sees the practical first, and for that practical, what is the theory required? What is the topics required to be taught so that the practical can be done? So the industry connect will come only if you look at the practicals which the industry wants and what is the underpinning theory required to do that practical. Got it? So you have to identify that one, and then the affective domain outcomes like team working, safety consciousness, leadership. These are the affective domain outcomes. How can they be developed? They can easily be developed in the laboratory or practical exercises. And you must assess them also. Tell them that they will be assessed for their leadership qualities. When you tell them that you are going to be assessed, they will, even the shy people will take up leadership. On team working, are they working in teams cohesively? That is what is important. And to assess the affective domain outcomes, you will have to develop certain rating scales, rubrics, checklists, and things like that. So it is a comprehensive thing that you're going to. So this is the way. Then when you develop all that, a course structure is ready. So these micro level outcomes put together for each course, with all the courses, that will become the course structure, right? And then when the course structure is ready, you have for each course, there will be a course structure. And that means if there are 30 courses, there will be 30 course structures. If there are 35 courses, 35 course structures, 45 courses means 45 course structures. So that has to be designed at the curriculum design stage by the CDC. And when all the course structures and the program structure put together, the outcome-based curriculum is there. So what you do is and once this is ready, you will realize that the industry is interested only in the competency, the PSOs and the COs. While we in academia, we are more interested in the practical exercises, the examination, unit outcomes, and effective outcomes. So, of course, these are required in order to develop this. So we will take that means now the topics has a real meaning. You're teaching the topics so that the unit outcomes are developed, effective domain outcomes are developed, and the COs are, so that they can do the practical. So you design the practical from top to down, and you implement from bottom to top. So this is the typical outcome-based curriculum model for the Industry Connect. So you see, this Industry Connect will come when you're implementing, you will have to take examples from the industry. You will have to ask questions related to the industry. You will have to take practicals related to the industry. So implementation also should be Industry Connect. So this typical model, if you can remember, then I would say the industry employability of the students will be increased. Okay. So I'm looking at it in another way. I have another just few minutes more. The outcome-based curriculum is developed in this direction. You have the industry-connected program-specific outcomes. Then you have the industry-connected competency, because these two are your collecting or you are asking the industry to give, right? That's why it's called industry connected. Then you have the subtask of the competency, that's also industry oriented, but they are called the course outcomes. From the course outcomes, you have the practical outcomes, then the effective domain outcomes, and then the unit outcomes. So this is the way the curriculum is developed or designed, right? And then from all this, the topics are emerging. Once this is ready, then you start implementing, right? When you start implementing in this direction, how will you implement? You will teach in the classroom, you will teach in the laboratory, you will give them micro projects, you will give them small problems, assignments, you will take tests, all these things, and along with your teaching, right? So your assessment will also be progressive. Then you should have to have progressive assessment in order the industry connect is there, and because skills cannot be developed in one go, cannot be assessed in one. Therefore, you assess the unit outcomes through pen and paper tests. PA is progressive assessment, SEE is semester end examination. So you have assignments, test papers, and things like that. So outcome-based assessment or OBA will also go hand in hand with OBTL, that is outcome-based teaching learning. And then you will assess the effective domain outcomes usually through the practicals. And the practicals are assessed in the laboratories, workshops, field situations, things like that. And then all these micro level outcomes, they are integrated as COs or course outcomes, and they are and competencies. And once you have, when you integrate all the course outcomes, you get the competency, and they can be seen only if you give them micro projects. Without micro projects, it is almost impossible for you to assess the course outcomes and the outcome-based and the competency. So when you integrate many competencies of many courses, what will happen? You have the capstone projects or the major projects, and you will be able to assess the program specific outcomes there. So it is a full circle. I will call it as yesterday. It's a 360 degrees outcome based curriculum with the industry connect. Yesterday we were talking. Yesterday you heard about the industry connect. Today I tried to connect the curriculum along with the industry connect. Right. So this is the model that has to be that you have to follow for a successful outcome-based curriculum, so that the employability of the students are enhanced, right? So I had told you that I'm going to publish one book for higher education, but outcome-based curriculum in engineering education is already published by PHI Learning. Those who want can get a copy of it. And this is the link for that. You can, those who want, see the process of curriculum development, whether it's engineering or non-engineering, remains the same, because the industry connect has to come in. The employable, I would say the employer connect has to come. Let me put it in another way, right? So those who want can get it, or those who want to wait for the other book that is also coming out shortly. And then my area of work is also in the area of wind power technology. This is the third edition, a very popular book. Those who want can get it. This is another book which I have written also on wind power plants for the industry, that is also available from PHI Learning. And this is my first book on competency-based curriculum. So I have been working in this area for the last several years. So whatever I have taught, I have already designed, implemented, and evaluated as well. Officially not evaluated, but I would say progressive evaluation I've done. And so if you want more information about my books and related papers, you may Google my name and you may get more information on that. So all those things which I'm discussing, you can attend the MOOCs or take part in the MOOC that is available in AICTE, offered by AICTE, and things like that. So thank you all for your patience, attention, and valuable time. Any questions?
Yes, sir. Participants have posted questions. I'll read it out.
Yeah.
What are the interactive tips to keep in touch with the industry for the medium level institutions?
My answer, I've already given that in that, but just a bit. I'll come to, yeah. I'll stop sharing first and then, sorry. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Well,
Participants,
okay.
any queries, please?
Yeah, I mean, as somebody has already said, I'll put it like that. Can you please repeat that question again? I was trying to.
Yes, sir, sure. What are the interactive tips to keep in touch with the industry for the medium level institutions?
First of all, can you just tell me, do you know what is a medium level institution? I could not get that. What do you mean by a medium level? If I understand, is it a hub and spoke model institute? When I say hub and spoke model, I mean there's a central university and all the colleges are affiliated to it, like Anna University or Bharatiyar University, where many colleges are connected to it. If that is the type of, whether it is a medium institute or whether it's a deemed university or a higher level or autonomous institute, First thing is you should have an industry institute interaction cell. That will take care, and all those teachers should be in touch with the, I would say, and all the teachers should be in touch with the, just a minute, this, my laptop was conking off. Yeah, all the institutes should have an industry institute interaction. Maybe I can show you that. See this, if they have not, yeah. Can you see this? Can you see the slide now?
Yes, sir. We can see strategies for OBC Industry Connect.
So industry institute interaction, every institute can have. Teachers can have a rapport with the institute. Every medium institute also can have. Guest lectures, all of you can have. Adjunct faculty may not be in your hand, so leave that. Live projects you can take. Industry visits you already conduct. Industrial training is not in your hands. Apart from adjunct faculty and industrial training, all the others, every teacher can practice. So if we can do that, that way the industry connect can be there. Employability will be very high. That should be your aim. And your students will be very much thankful to you, let me put it. They will remember their whole life if you are preparing them for employment, because you're taking care of their livelihood. Yes. Any other question?
Yes, sir. Can you share any live example that the students have gained the knowledge by connecting with the industry?
Live example in the sense, all those, let me put it, any student, and there are many students who have taken industry projects, right? And some students have made patents also, and they have got immediate employment in that industry. So taking live project or live problems from the industry, doing it as a project will help them to land up in the industry. Let me put it again. All those who have taken live problems from the industry and done that, they have very good packages from the industry, straight placement they will get. And there are many examples. So doing live problems from the industry is the key for employability, for greater employability, and money-wise, if you say, greater packages also. Because there you can see, there the industry realizes that this student is of great value to me. Therefore, the industry will pick him up or pick her up. Yes. Any other?
Yes, sir. Next, your suggestion to connect the mathematical science students with the industry.
Yes. Let me put it. First of all, mathematical teachers should be in most of the mathematical teachers, they are in their own islands. That they have to come out of their island or compartment mentality and mingle with all the branches of electrical and engineering, physics, and all others, and try to find out where their mathematics is fitting into that program, which course. Once that comes in, you will get the industry connect from there. But if you're teaching mathematics theory for theory's sake, that will not happen. You will have to work in close relationship with electrical, mechanical, civil, physics, chemistry, I would say, or computer science, IT. They have to work together, find out, for example, Fourier series. Where is Fourier series being used in electrical engineering or electronics engineering? For the partial differentiation, where is it being, which problem is it being used in the industry? Like that, they also will have to enter into the industrial problems and ask, and even the student, you should ask questions which are industry related. then the industry connect would be there. Now, most of the people, they are teaching mathematics for mathematics' sake. You have to teach mathematics for problem solving in the industry sake. That has to be. Yes. This we have done when you design the curriculum, outcome-based curriculum, this automatically comes in. See, outcome-based curriculum, you are identifying the outcomes. Mathematical, one competency for the mathematics, basic mathematics is solve industrial problems using mathematical principles. That is a competency. So if they have to solve industrial problems using mathematical principles, then the mathematical teachers have to see what are those industrial problems. Then they will also be interested. They will also like it, I would say. Yes, next question, please. If there is any more.
Yes, sir. How the faculty ought to be equipped to meet out the industrial challenges?
Madam, all the answers, the question comes here. Each teacher will have to walk an extra mile to get in touch with the industry. I would say yesterday that the professor was talking that you should have maybe a lunch with the industry personnel, okay? Or maybe you call them to the industry for a guest lecture. Then you talk to them informally also, call them up sometimes, take up their problems, like that. So that way only you can. See, it is all, it cannot always be a formal approach. There are many informal situations. You'll have to create informal situations where you can develop that. That's how it has to be done. Formally, everything formal will not. If you say the institute will take care of that, no. You have to, every teacher has to go an extra mile to be in touch with the industry. Because that will help your students, that will help you also. Let me put it. Yeah. Any next question, if there is any more?
So many more questions are prompting here.
Yeah, let me put it. The taste of the pudding lies in the eating. The first of all, you'll have to analyze your curriculum. If it is not outcome based, identify the learning outcomes at the industry which should be connected to the industry. Only then this will start happening. You will have to start refining or modifying your curriculum to make it really outcome based, which should be in observable and measurable terms. Any outcome which is not observable and measurable, any outcome which does not start with a smart action verb is not an outcome at all. Modify it, as I modified with you right now, starting from the PEOs and the PSOs. Yes. Yes, madam.
What's an academic cycle? How the OBE could fit into it?
Academic cycle.
Yeah.
Let me put it. You can start implementing the OBE right from day to day. How? Analyze your curriculum. Find out which unit does not have learned. I would say you take your syllabus. If you don't have an outcome-based curriculum, say unit 1 of your syllabus. Find out what are the learning outcomes. If it is not there, you frame one and then you teach accordingly. You frame a learning outcome which is industry related and then you teach accordingly with the same topics that is there in your syllabus. That is how you start. So you are starting out from today itself, you can start, but you have to take an extra effort. There is no easy go for it, right? But otherwise, as an institute, you should go in for curriculum development. There are some institutes which are contacting me. I'm helping them out. And you have to go on a turnkey basis, right? From the whole curriculum should be made outcome based with industry connect. So individually at your level, you can do, definitely you can, but at a corporate level, at the whole program level also you can. I will put it like that, even if your curriculum is not outcome based, you try to find out the learning outcomes for each unit and start teaching. That's number one. Don't go only by the lecture method. You find out which are the MOOCs that they can, you tell them you go and watch this MOOC, or you go and watch this video program on the YouTube. And then you said, tomorrow I'll talk to you. I will ask questions on that YouTube program that you have seen. So you have to start using various media that is available now. And it is on the fingertips, on the mobile, right? So give students assignments like that so that they become more and more industry connected. Only by lecture method, no, you will not be able, the industry connect will not. See, you should be a facilitator of the, so that the learning outcomes are. Let me say, you should not be a information dispenser. When you are in the lecture mode, you are an information dispenser. You involve the students in the teaching learning process. Maybe you can say, tomorrow I'm going to talk about, say, optical fibers. You say, you go and watch these two YouTube programs. So send them the link on the common WhatsApp. They will watch and come. So tomorrow, you may not have to teach at all. You will only have to have, that's called a flipped classroom. So you must have flipped classrooms where you will not teach. They will learn from the internet. You will come, you will only ask questions. Maybe in one, the whole unit could be taught in one class also. So see, with the mobiles now, with the students having mobiles, it is not like in our days where there was nothing. You use the power of the internet to complete your courses. See, you have not, see, the outcome is whether in the exam they're passing. For that, you teach them accordingly so that you ask questions which are industry connected, apply level at Bloom's taxonomy, apply and above. So like that, if you can teach, definitely don't think that if you have not taken a lecture, you have not completed the course. You can go to the flipped classroom is the best method, I would say. Most of the answers you will get on the internet. Even you as a teacher must be doing that. Okay, yes. I think I've answered a question. Yeah, anyway, I'm ready. We can still continue.
The last question is, sir,
okay.
Is there any certification course for the industrial training?
Yes, there has to be. See, if you are a deemed, university or you are an autonomous, you can, I would say, sandwich the industrial training along with your course. Give them credits for that course. So automatically certificates will come in. And in that industrial training, the industry can give live problems. Like that, they may be absorbed because of their industrial training also. So you'll have to, I'm talking of not for the hub and spoke model institutes, I'm talking for the autonomous institutes where you can do all these very easily. So certification, of course, will definitely be there, has to be there for industrial training. You can have, it need not be 6 months, it can be 4 weeks, it can be 6 weeks during the summer, like that. There are models, we have done that. We have experimented that also in Maharashtra and other places. Yes. I don't know.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for answering all the questions. I welcome Dr. Lakshmi to conclude the session.
Thank you, ma'am. I am grateful to thank our chief guest, Dr. Joshua Ernest, Professor in the Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering, National Institute of Technical Teachers Training and Research, Bhopal, in this forum. He has covered the major areas in the curriculum development and OBE. He has mainly covered what is academic cycle and the development of outcome-based curriculum, what are the directions we have to follow, and the industry-connected PSO, OBE curriculum, OPC Industry Connect. For a OBC Industry Connect, what are the steps to be followed, and the strategies of development of outcome-based curriculum has been explained by him in a very good, understandable way, and he has answered all our queries. On behalf of Amit, deemed to be university, I thank you, sir. for your wonderful presentation.
Okay. Thank you so much. Bye. Thank you to
sir.
all of you. Thank you to Amit also for giving me this opportunity to come and share my burden regarding employability of the students.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Participants, we have posted the feedback link in the chat window of the Zoom link as well as in the YouTube. Please fill it up.
I already shared, ma'am, both.
Yes.
So they have to see, no, sir. That's why I have informed them.
Okay, ma'am.
Professor
Thank you so
Joshua
much, sir.
Arrest, sorry for the inconvenience caused, sir, at the earliest.
Yeah,
There is
yeah,
a
it's
network
okay.
issues here. Yeah, really
Yeah,
sorry
yeah.
for that.
Yeah, when Madam Shashilata told me, I started off.
Yes,
Till
sir,
then I
yes,
was
sir.
waiting.
Yes, sir. Sorry for the inconvenience, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Welcome.
Sir, participants are close பண்ணிக்கலாம், sir.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.